Here's a story from Fox News. AOC questions if Capitol police officer tried to put her in a vulnerable situation. Quote, he was looking at me with a tremendous amount of anger and hostility. They say Rep. AOC wondered aloud Monday whether a Capitol police officer who barged into her office to direct her to a safe location during the January 6th riot was actually trying to protect her or not. Saying, like so many other communities in this country, just that presence doesn't give you a clear signal if you're safe or not. So the situation did not feel okay. AOC has for weeks said she thought she was going to die that day. She said the officer had anger and hostility in his eyes, and she questioned whether or not he had been trying to put her in a vulnerable situation. Still, she said she wasn't sure and was trying not to pass judgment. The New York Democrat detailed on Instagram Live Monday night the series of events that led her to question the officer's motives. At the time, she realized rioters had breached the Capitol and she hid in her office fearing for her life. She says that a little after 1 p.m., she heard banging on the door, like someone was trying to break down the door. Fearing it was a rioter, she hid in her bathroom. She said she heard repeated yells of, "Where is she?" through the door hinge. "I see this white man in a black beanie. I have never been quieter in my life. All of a sudden, I hear my staffer G yell out, 'Hey, it's okay, come out.' When I come out, this man is a Capitol police officer. He was looking at me with a tremendous amount of anger and hostility. Things weren't adding up," she continued. She said her staffer had also not known if the officer was there to help us or hurt us. That is how aggressive the situation was in that moment. We couldn't tell if this was a good situation or a bad situation. Well, I'll tell you, the first thing I'll say is AOC has no conflict experience. What did she do? She went to Boston University or whatever?
She did work at a bar, though. I mean, the bar fights do break out. I mean, I know it's a little bit facetious, but yeah.
You know, so I can respect that she was genuinely scared.
100%.
But I am a little mildly perturbed at this story where you have a cop rushing to her because he knows she's famous, I'm assuming. But this cop goes to her office, knocks on the door, probably loudly. I mean, there's a riot going on. And when he says, "Where is she?" she assumes all these negative things about the cop who actually saved her and protected her and told her to go to a different building.
Yeah, so what is the exact complaint here from her? Just that he was too angry, or he was harsh in his tone, or did he say something to her? I don't understand.
Yeah, he was harsh in his tone. And, you know, interestingly, I'm not going to put all the heat on AOC for this one. She was telling a story about how she felt and how she perceived it.
Yeah, I get it.
That's fine. The issue is how the media is latching onto it to turn it into a culture war issue.
That's a very good point.
And then Michael Tracy called it emotional manipulation. I even said earlier, I wouldn't call it manipulation. Actually, you know, Michael Tracy's right. But I don't think it's, you know, what she did when she told the story was more about promoting herself and getting more attention, because she is a master at turning the story into a story about AOC. Now it's nearly a month later, and the Capitol riot story is all about AOC, and Ted Cruz almost had her killed, and now she's hiding in her bathroom. And there are a lot of questions we got to bring up about this story. But I don't know, look like you're going to say something.
I mean, it was an intense moment. It would be interesting to know if this was before and after the police shot and killed someone. But, you know, that officer probably thought he was risking his life, and it was a very intense moment. So I think that's worth factoring in here, too. And as you said, what's the story here? There's none. It's a nothing burger. Nothing happened. It's a personal story that, again, the mainstream media and Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, even though she's not really obsessing about it and pushing it like the mainstream media is, she knows what she's doing on the same hand as well. She knows the attention this is going to get, this is going to garner. She knows the talking points. And essentially, I mean, we're talking about it, right?
Right. Yeah, exactly. When it's the perfect story, because it's gonna get both sides worked up. You're gonna have all the boomer cons who just love picking over every single one of AOC's sentences and freaking out about it. And granted, like, there's subject matter there, but at some point, when you argue with a fool, there are two, and you just have to ignore some of this.
This is so. I'm gonna tell you.
I hear you on that too, because the media keeps shoving it in our face.
I want to tell you exactly why I decided to talk about this story, because it's precisely how much I don't care about it, and it embodies perfectly what I see almost like every day in news. This was trending. This story was trending this morning. The Young Turks dedicated a live segment to this, like, pathetic Michael Tracy. And I'm like, that's what they are. That's what they do. That's what these news outlets and even the Young Turks do. They pile on to the drama. When I saw that AOC was, you know, this live stream, you know what I thought? That's it.
Yeah.
You know what I thought? A white guy in a black beanie. I just pictured you. I pictured you slamming the door.
Okay.
It
was me. I was the cop the whole time.
That was her actual
No. But here's the point.
Beautiful.
There are stories like this all the time where it's like I see someone, you know, like someone from the squad tweet something, and then I'm just like, I just see it and I go, How is that impacting anything? She told this story. It was her feelings in the moment. She told it the way she felt it. It was good for her. It generated a lot of press. Congratulations. And then when Michael Tracy criticizes her, and he's just some dude on Twitter. I'm not trying to be disrespectful. He's a journalist. He's got a Twitter account. It turns into a major story where everyone's picking it up. Listen, what we need to focus on, and we need a media to call out, say, Biden's 43 executive orders.
Oh my
Instead,
goodness.
what we get is drama between Twitter accounts.
Yeah, get used to that, though. I mean, that gets views. That's more interesting. Who cares about executive orders? And who in the media is going to talk about them?
Yep.
You know what? I would like to point out, I think maybe Congress should have combat training now. Maybe it should be important if you're going to run for office and you get voted in that you need some sort of military training.
You remember when politicians used to duel each other?
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, none of us remember it. We weren't there, but
Historically, yes.
read about that in a history book or two.
I was watching Back to the Future. It was on the other day, and it was Back to the Future 3, where Biff or whatever no, that was his name. Buford, that was his name. He's gonna shoot at noon or whatever. I don't know, old cliche. And I was like, yeah, it's kind of like we used to be like these high noon 10 paces duels in the Wild West. Like we used to do this all the time.
Yeah.
Like politicians literally would just shoot each other.
Dude, if you ran into someone with your horse, they'd just shoot you.
Well, and then,
Would they? What?
do you remember about?
You're
Crazy
playing too
back
much
then.
Red Dawn Redemption.
That happened in Red Dead, actually.
Do you guys remember about 10 years ago? It was either senator or congressman who yelled "You lie" at Obama, and they were like,
Who
"This
was
is."
it?
I don't remember
I
who,
don't
but
remember
the
who it
entire
was.
media was like, "This is unprecedented. This level of incivility." I was like, "They used to shoot each other."
Yeah.
like they used to shoot each other. But yeah, it's horrible, and obviously it's a better place to be in where yelling is bad. And you're that far removed from violence, but unfortunately, it does seem we are returning there in a lot of ways.
Well,
Tensions have been escalating.
It's kind of crazy when you look back hundreds of years ago, how like they didn't really value their own lives all that much.
Yeah.
Like I wouldn't want to duel someone because I've grown quite fond of living.
Yeah, have we
you know?
talked? I feel like we've talked about this before. Like people were just, or maybe I've had this conversation with someone else, and maybe it's the way the past was depicted or the machismo that people had. But yeah, folks were a lot more willing to take risks that would result
I'm
in their
gonna
life
die.
ending. Yeah.
Now we're not. I mean, maybe there's.
It's like I've
good
got
and bad
about
things
3
there.
teeth left, so it's probably about time
So-
anyway.
So there's a few things that I wanted to highlight with this story. One is, should we have politicians who aren't going to be scared and hide in the bathroom while their staffers stand guard for them? You know what I mean? So like,
Let's think, I don't blame her for being scared. She didn't know what was going on, and she's what's that?
No.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I mean, I don't blame her. She was scared. I guess is this sort of back to Ian's point about some kind of military training for Congress people, or
I don't know if we need Congress people to have military training or
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah.
But there's a funny issue in the story where she says her staffer told her it was safe to come out, implying that she was hiding in the bathroom and left her staffer out in the front to confront the
I
riot.
get that. I hear you on that point. Yes.
Yeah. So the issue I'm bringing up is, are these the people who are going to be voting our kids into war?
Yeah, that's
Who
a very good
You
point.
know, who are going to be
No, exactly. They should be armed. They should learn how to handle weapons, have some sort of
I think
combat
you're right
training,
there.
and be armed if they're going to be working at the Capitol.
I think that's a really good point. Not necessarily because we want, not necessarily because we expect that the Capitol is going to be continually attacked. Though, again, hope for the best, prepare for the worst. That said, if you are going to be sending people to fight in wars and you are going to be regulating guns, like, you should probably have some knowledge of combat.
I say let's go a step further. If you want to fight a war, you go fight it. If
Yeah.
the politician
You do
wants
it.
to start
Yeah.
one, bring your
I-
sons, bring yourself, go out there, just like the Kings did.
Yeah.
The Kings back in the day, obviously, as you said,
Way back in the day.
way back
Way
in
back
the
in the
day,
day.
if they wanted to fight a war, they would literally put their brothers, their sisters, their whole family on the front line. They were the ones leading the charge, and why not bring that back? Hell,
Well-
let's even bring back dueling if they want to do it themselves voluntarily. I mean, to me, that's a solution that a voluntarist would really like.
You'd need to like sign a contract, like we
Yeah.
hereby duel. The problem with that is someone could be coerced into signing something, or they could
Yeah, I
forge
don't like it.
and then murder somebody.
I definitely
But-
like the. Oh, sorry.
No, I was going to say there was a period where the Kings stopped doing that. And then I don't know if you guys ever seen the movie The Patriot. Man, I reference The Patriot
Yeah,
so often.
all the time.
I remember
where
that one.
where Cornwallis is like, stop killing my officers. Could you imagine the chaos of no officers on the battlefield? Oh, like you can't kill those guys.
Yeah.
Just kill the little poor people.
Yeah, it's
Kill
really,
them.
really horrible. And I'm not, definitely not a fan of dueling, but I hear you guys very much on the fact, or on this idea that there should be more of a cost to the people waging these wars or pushing the country into them that there isn't. I mean, it's a cost that your average person pays or is more liable to pay, and they just don't.
To me, it's also kind of awkward to see the people who create one of the worst humanitarian crises in the world, specifically with Yemen, selling weapons to Saudi Arabia and telling us about incivility and how rude people are and how violent protests are. I mean, the two don't really add up when you really look at it from that perspective.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the fact that Boeing had a $580 billion contract servicing the F-12s that were being used to bomb Yemen by the Saudi Arabian government.
Well, no. The U.S.-Saudi coalition that are working together in tandem, bombing the crap out of mainly the Houthi areas, which, of course, is creating the worst humanitarian crisis according to the United Nations.
So here's what I want to do. We're talking about the Capitol riot again. I'm just kind of like, it's been a month. Why is this still coming up? And as so long as they want to milk it for all it's worth and then run these segments, I'll just be like, can we get that dude whose bar burnt down in the Minneapolis riots
100%
on the TV as well? Because I'm all down to, like, AOC told their story. All right, I respect that. I hear you. I hear you. It was probably traumatic. You've never experienced something like this before. I must be crazy, and sorry it happened to you. How about we make room on the stage for the businessman who set up a sports bar? It was his dream. He was a firefighter, and then it got destroyed by these rioters. How come we didn't have this massive news cycle for this guy? And it was incumbent upon, independent news channels and social media to promote this guy to get him the support he needed.
Well, they're going to be talking about this for 4 years, minimum.
Exactly.
This is their 9/11. This is their Pearl Harbor. This is the event that they're going to be milking till, I don't even want to say when, but I remember even driving.
Till the cows come home.
Yes.
Perfect. I love it.
I remember just even today driving and listening to NPR, and they had a CIA guy.
Of course.
Who was talking about the dangers of insurrection domestically, and specifically going on about how we need to take down Trump. We need to charge him with as much as we can because he represents a strong guy. And there's an ideology that we need to fight domestically. And it was it was just mind-boggling sitting back driving and watching and seeing a CIA guy who fought off insurgents in the Middle East now trying to implement some of those policies inside of the United States domestically. And when you look at Biden and the people he surrounded himself with, especially with the laser-like focus that the intelligence agencies under him, according to John Brennan, are going to be focusing now on the libertarians and on the nativists, we're headed towards a situation that's not going to be clearing up anytime. And this is why they're going to be talking about this insurrection for at least 4 years. I'm surprised we're still not milking 9/11, just like Rudy Giuliani did every opportunity.
We basically are with the Patriot Act.
Yeah, exactly. With the Patriot Act, all the same laws are in effect, and all the same overreactions are still in place. We're still fighting in the Middle East. These wars have continued after
Afghanistan,
20 years.
and even today we got news and information that Germany is pushing the United States to stay in longer, and most likely the other information and other reports we're getting in today is that the withdrawal that was planned from Afghanistan is not going to happen.
Oh, geez.
So
that's
the
horrible.
troop withdrawal. Yeah. So
and what a shock that is, right?
Listen, you know why I love the GameStop story is that for once you have a clear path to uniting left and right on an issue they agree on, and against the establishment elites who propagate these wars. And then we see this drama pop up, which is the distraction, in my opinion, on purpose, to get us off topic, to focus on stupid drama that doesn't mean anything.
Well, and it's funny because they go on and on about how it was Trump who riled up these tensions, and I think it was even claimed that Ted Cruz was responsible. AOC insinuated that, or
that's
even
what
how
he
it
said.
stated that he tried to kill him.
AOC said that,
which
Ted
is
Cruz said
so
to kill
insane.
her.
And their whole argument is, well, they propagated misinformation that allowed for tensions to become so high that people were willing to attack the Capitol. It's like, all right, well, what about all the lies the media told to get us into these conflicts in the Middle East? And how many people have died as a result of that? And how many of them are on camera?
Thanks for checking out this clip from the Timcast IRL podcast. We do the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. So come back to check us out when we go live. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the like button, hit the notification bell, and we are also available on all podcast platforms for free if you want to listen to us there. Thanks for hanging out, and we will see you all next time.